I have personally always loved the 14-inch laptop form factor with, 13 or 14-inch screen, usually a little over half an inch thick, but they always seem to come with compromises. I often find myself weighing the pros and cons of giving up, let's say, battery life for the sake of more discrete power, maybe a higher resolution screen for touch or tablet functionality. You just don't come across a sweet spot 14-inch laptop very often, something that seems to check all the boxes in a footprint only slightly smaller than what I have here. But Lenovo has done it. So we've partnered with both Lenovo and AMD to showcase their new Yoga 7 2-in-1s, what you're seeing here, and both of these in particular are sporting AMD Ryzen AI 7 CPUs and integrated Radeon 860M graphics. Kraken Point is the latest and greatest from Team Red, and it has surprised me in more ways than one, especially in this smaller footprint here, which we'll be spending the majority of our time on in this video. Let's start with the basics. Aluminum construction, it feels solid, it feels premium, and it has this comfort edge design with rounded corners for a more approachable shape. The backlit deck is clean with respectable key travel given its thickness, about a 1.5mm stroke with a 0.3mm concave dish cooked into each key for a more ergonomic feel. Accompanying are full-size shift keys and plenty of useful functions up top. The trackpad is very large for a 14-inch footprint. I will say this is one of my favorite things about this laptop, and the clicks sound like this. I'm not sure what prompted me to throw in a clip of me just clicking the trackpad, but this is very satisfying. It's one of the better Windows laptop trackpads I've used. And while we're here, in case you're wondering, the keyboard sounds like this. Now off to the right below the keys, you'll find a fingerprint reader, which is appreciated. You can also sign in with Windows Hello and the built-in 5-megapixel 1080p webcam up top. My favorite thing about this is what Lenovo's done with the cover. Simply slide this lever to the left for both a physical and software shutoff of the camera. I know my dad in particular would appreciate that. They even made it red so you know for sure when it's been disabled. When being used, however, it looks and sounds like this. This is a test of the Lenovo Yoga 7 2-in-1's camera as well as its microphone quality. So I'm curious, with 4 different microphones crammed into this thing. I'm not sure where they put all 4 of them. I think there's one by the camera lens. There's one down here by the trackpad. I'm not sure where the other 2 are. But microphone quality is I think more important for most laptop users. The detail in the webcam is usually not that big of an issue. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think. Port selection is a treat, I've got to say. I'm not sure really what I was expecting for a 14-inch laptop in 2025, but seeing as though we even have something like a micro SD card slot is, that's a welcome addition to a laptop that is targeting creators. You've also got a full-size HDMI port, you've got 2 USB Type-C ports, and a Type-A port. I honestly can't complain about much here. I mean, aside from maybe having another Type-A port and a full-size SD card reader instead of a micro SD card slot. I mean, there's not much else I would change about this. There's not much else you could frankly fit, seeing as though the laptop tapers down toward the front. Overall, the entire aesthetic of this laptop is class. It both feels and looks elegant. Branding isn't over the top, and it even does, to set this up here for a sweet shot of the yoga-ness of the Yoga 7 2-in-1. This thing will flip all the way around into a convertible sort of 2-in-1. So you have a tablet mode here. You've got tent mode, which I think is actually pretty cool as well if you want to kind of stand the laptop up without having a keyboard in front of the screen. Of course, you can lay it down flat, and you can also raise the screen for a more conventional laptop vibe. This particular setup pairs nicely with the new Yoga Pen, by the way, opening doors to digital creation. Most laptops this size severely lack, either for their lack of yoga-ness or for their lack of touchscreen capabilities, and the precision of this screen is top-notch, especially when paired with that pen. You also have an optional mouse if you want to use this laptop, and it's more, again, conventional layout. But enough about the exterior for now. Let's talk about what's going on the inside, because this is where, in my opinion, the true magic happens, and that's thanks in large part to AMD and the silicon baked in. It is, without a doubt, the secret sauce, and once again, AMD have somehow managed to turn what would otherwise be a boring APU into a gaming powerhouse. And this device, mind you, isn't even being marketed as a gaming laptop. Yogas traditionally have been great for college students, content creators, and folks generally on the go, right? Versatility is their competitive advantage, and that usually comes with trade-offs, namely in the power department. See, by nature of how this whole folding deal works is that ventilation becomes a bit tricky. So we've got this huge ventilation panel here on the bottom, it's perforated, but when you seemingly flip the laptop all the way around into its sort of hybrid tablet mode here, you can see all of that breathability gets choked off. That would normally be a huge problem for laptops like this, but not with RDNA 3.5. AMD literally looked at this setup and said, nah fam, we got you, and they threw the latest tech into the mix. This iteration emphasizes incredible power efficiency, which we'll get to in a bit, in addition to sheer compute performance. And because this is an AI processor, it can do some pretty cool things on board as well. Now, I always have to throw out the disclaimer that yes, we get it, AI is overused marketing fluff, but in this case, the baked-in neural processor, or NPU, something you'll be seeing more of, I imagine, in the future, allows for completely localized AI processing, meaning you don't need to be online necessarily to use it. And with up to 50 TOPS of processing prowess, it pairs nicely with Lenovo AI Now and amplifies productivity with security at the forefront. And boy oh boy, do I wish I had this when I was in school. I'm not condoning cheating of any kind. I want to be clear, AI can be used responsibly in the classroom, just not for test taking or, essay writing. The ability to summarize notes in general, just cross-reference paragraphs in textbooks, generalize, explain things in a way that my professors admittedly sometimes didn't, would have been, so nice. I would have paid a pretty penny. If I could have, I was a broke college student. The good thing about these NPUs being baked into more and more of these laptops is that they're getting cheaper, they're getting more affordable, more attainable, and that means that data over time will be fed to us faster because these things are also getting more efficient with every iteration. But what else can the latest Ryzen AI APUs do then? Gaming. I probably would have expected that from an APU. But let's check out some of that footage. Our goal with this segment was to be forthcoming about the capabilities of such an APU, not to mask or glorify it. Managed expectations are important both when gaming with a laptop this small and portable, and when gaming with any APU in general. But Kraken Point does a heck of a job, especially with older titles like GTA 5. This is the legacy mode, 1080p high settings, no anti-aliasing, not a bad start for a machine lacking dedicated graphics, and one that is just this tiny. Seeing GTA 5 play on a machine this small just seems weird to me. Up next was The Finals, an intense, free-to-play first-person shooter, and while I wouldn't normally advise playing something this fast-paced on a 2-in-1, the Yoga 7 handled it with ease. This title supports AMD FSR 3, which is a bit of a cheat code if you have AMD hardware. If you know, you know, it's actually fantastic to use, and this allowed us to maintain a respectable frame rate in 1080p. You'll notice iGPU utilization pegged near 100% throughout. This isn't really going to change whether we enable or disable FSR 3, but even our CPU threads are staying busy, and this is a good thing. It's what you should expect from newer titles paired with newer hardware. And if you ask me, the end result, 60 FPS on average, isn't too shabby. Dirt 5 is next in line, and in 1080p low, we manage a consistent 61 FPS on average with minimal frame time spikes. In fact, I couldn't see any watching this entire thing in playback. This game's great for a number of reasons, in particular how clean it looks even at lower resolutions and settings. For any racing game, I'd argue smoothness and at least a 60 FPS target are crucial, and I'm happy to report that's exactly what we're seeing here. But how about a title better suited for a 2-in-1? Yes, they do exist, and since I'm a huge Yu-Gi-Oh fan, I wanted to give Master Duel a try. The touchscreen came in super handy as expected, even allowing me to go full tablet mode for an experience more like I'd find on my phone. The frame rate remained pegged at 60, which was the soft cap, and honestly the best choice given how close to your hands and body you'll likely be holding the 2-in-1. Strategy and board games like these benefit more from in-game fidelity if you ask me, and it proved more than doable with the Yoga 7. And of course, it doesn't stop here. Other games like old school RuneScape, RS3, World of Warcraft, all very doable on a machine like this. I'm a huge OS buff, and the flexibility of a 2-in-1 like this, being able to use the touchscreen when needed, but also the trackpad and the keys when things are a little more intensive, is just so nice. The flexibility is appreciated. Like I said, not too shabby for a thin and light convertible with merely an APU. No discrete graphics to be found in here, though you wouldn't know that from watching some of these gaming clips. All of these, by the way, were recorded with an external capture card, so no additional load was put on the CPU or GPU. Much of this translates to the content creation side of things, by the way. Generally, if a system does well in games, then it will also do well with software suites like Adobe and others. And that's exactly what we see here. Adobe's massively improved OpenGL and CL stability over the years, paving the way for viable all AMD Creative Cloud machines. And the new Yoga 7 2-in-1 is no exception. Even the 14-inch model plows through timelines as though discrete graphics were lending a helping hand, and video render times rival that of some modern desktop equivalents. It also doesn't hurt that each each purchase includes a complimentary 2-month membership of Adobe Creative Cloud with no payment info required for new users. That's how confident these brands are in their products and resulting performance, if what you're seeing here doesn't already speak for itself. And speaking for itself, I don't normally wait until now in a video like this to mention the display, but it really does speak for itself, doesn't it? This is an OLED 2880 by 1800 display, capable of up to 120 Hz and 1100 nits of peak HDR brightness. It's incredibly fast, ghosting is near non-existent as you can see here, and of course it has 10-point multi-touch capabilities since it's, you know, a 2-in-1. It kind of needs that. And with this OLED technology comes incredibly vibrant, accurate color reproduction, 100% of the sRGB gamut, 100% of the P3 gamut, and a 99% of the Adobe gamut. Yeah, that sort of kind of speaks for itself. And if you ask me, aside from the AMD goodies, it is one of the highlights of this machine. Literally, this thing gets so bright. Useful during the day, a bright room, or even outside, and unmatched contrast ratios make it perfect for night viewing as well. There's just nothing quite like OLED. A logical progression then from performance and visuals to battery life. What's the downside? Now, if we're seeing this sort of stark, robust attitude in a thin and light convertible like the Yoga 7 2-in-1, we should expect battery life to be, well, not that great, right? Cue the incredible efficiency of RDNA 3.5. I told you we'd be talking about this a bit later. I'm telling you, AMD has done a fantastic job in this arena. I was shocked to find that I still had over 50% of my battery life remaining after a 5-hour Netflix and chill session. And it didn't make sense to me at the time. I mean, I wasn't offline, I wasn't viewing locally, I had my brightness up halfway, volume from the speakers at 20%, which sound like this, by the way, and there are 4 of them packed in here. So yeah, like I said, there isn't much that's missing from this. I mean, it has almost every box that I can think of checked, and battery life is typically one of the first for me. It is so important in a portable device like this. I mean, what's the point of foregoing a desktop if you need to have this plugged in all the time? You're getting 2 times the texture sampler rate, 2 times the interpolation rate, and improved memory management all over its predecessor, and somehow better power management and efficiency. It's a winning combo. It sure tickles my fancy, and if it's doing the same to yours, be sure to click the sponsor link below. It'll tell you all about the new Lenovo Yoga 7 2-in-1s powered by the latest AMD Ryzen AI processors. Oh, and remember, you can get this particular set of specs in 2 different sizes, so if you want something a bit larger with 10 keys and more screen real estate, the 16-inch is an option, but if you ask me, the 14's where it's at. I'm a 14 kind of guy. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks for learning with me.